And we are live. Thank you for joining us again for Finance Magnates podcast. And today we have Adam, the CEO of BlockX. Adam, joining us from London. Adam, please introduce yourself.
Hi. First of all, thank you for having me today. My name is Adam Leonard, from CEO of BlockX. Like you said, we're headquartered in London, but we also have a team in Bulgaria, a small team in Taiwan, a small team in New York, and one person in Tel Aviv. Hopefully that will become a small team soon as well.
Great. We'd love to hear about that when it grows. You know, if make sure to keep us in the know.
Okay.
So, would you please explain to anyone that's not familiar with yet what does BlockX do?
Okay. The company started as simply an exchange. 3 years ago this September, we decided to finally take a plunge and build a blockchain, a business around blockchain. We've been involved in sort of the Bitcoin space since 2010, very early, late 2010, and really didn't see a place where we could create a sustainable business. But it wasn't until, like I said, 3 years ago this September, we were doing some work in the Isle of Man, talking to the regulators and talking to a lot of regulators and CTOs and chief compliance officers of financial institutions, and that's when we sort of realized, you know what, the world has discovered the blockchain. Really, that started to take root in Cybos, and then kind of took off from there. And we looked at what was going on in the blockchain and Bitcoin space, and really identified that it was the exchanges back then that were the weak spot. None of them really had payment processing. You had to buy Bitcoin to get on to the exchange. They, at least back then, the exchanges were always falling over. They didn't really do KYC or AML checks. It wasn't really suitable for institutions to get involved with, or high net worth individuals, or just day traders really to get involved with. It just wasn't set up for them. So we decided, let's build an exchange. Let's make it really fast. Let's make it secure, and let's follow all the rules that we would have to follow if it was regulated, because there really wasn't any regulation to get back then. And if we do that and we do it really well, we will gain the trust of institutions and regulators and high net worth, and hopefully start to move a lot of that big trading that was happening OTC onto exchange. And we started to build what is BlockX. And we realized really early, I've been around in the retail trading space for a while, and I understand the platforms and white labeling quite well, and built something back in 2002 that was sort of a white labeling platform. I knew that getting to critical mass on our own as a single exchange would be next to impossible. And as we were building, and the other exchanges were growing, and that started to become more obvious that getting to critical mass and being the busiest exchange would not be possible without a brokerage platform. So the first sort of pivot to the company was to expand the product to include a full brokerage platform. And that is finally going live after 3 years. It's been
Congratulations.
A lot of delays, a lot of false starts, but we're finally in the home stretch. And that brokerage platform is pretty interesting because it's like a business in itself. It's got a fully featured. It's got a full back office. It's got social trading. It's got a leverage trading product. It is a business in itself, and besides the other things that we do. Maybe not as well known for Finance Magnates and the people that know us in the sort of the FX CFD world. We also work with larger institutions around the creation of blockchain-based assets. So we built a digital asset creation tool, is what we call it, and it's really a framework around creating traditional financial assets using blockchain. So you can get all the efficiencies of blockchain and the tradability and portability of these assets. So the first production use case of that is bonds, and that is also launching at the same time as the whole platform. And what that enables people to do is to come onto our platform and create a bond for raising debt financing. The kind of people that would use that are, SMEs looking to raise, say, 10 million to 100 million. We're talking to some of the larger companies as well, that larger banks that issue a lot of MTNs, cookie cutter MTNs month after month, about streamlining that process for them as well, and helping them sort of reduce their costs. So our products and customers are very wide ranging now. So we one day we'll be talking to, trying to sell the brokerage platform, talking to going to Forex Magnates, or going to IFX, and then another day we're at we're in with a major exchange, trying to convince them to take our bonds and do list our bonds. So it's really interesting for us right now. We're crossing over a lot of different segments within capital markets, and yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So before I want to focus more on the the retail the white label offerings, but first, so I want to understand about the bond creation platform. So compared to the normal process, how much would you offer cost benefits, and what other advantages would blockchain offer?
Yes. Okay. So the best example for that is the UK, because that's what the legal framework is set up for within BlockX. So what we've done is we've templated the legal documentation from a law firm called Winston Strawn, and by doing that, we're able to offer their services and their documentation at about a 70% discount. So it is a massive difference. If you wanted to go to a law firm now, not necessarily Winston Strawn, but if you went to any law firm and tried to create a bond, they would charge you between 200 and 400,000 pounds. So we've been able to get that down to as low as 70,000 pounds, depending on how much you're raising. If you're raising $1 billion, 2 million doesn't really, who cares? It's 2 million to $1 billion. But if you're raising 10 million, and now it's costing you, 400,000 pounds to raise for the legal documentation, then 150,000 pounds to the London Stock Exchange to list the bond, and then another 15,000 pounds a year for different types of servicing. It starts to become far too expensive. So that was sort of the initial use case for the platform, was just to make the bond market more accessible to SMEs. But what we found, because you can automate the corporate actions around a blockchain-based bond, that some of the bigger issuers are interested in it, because you get added benefits of you can now do a monthly coupon payment, where it was sort of inefficient to do that in the past. You can know who actually owns the debt at any one time. If you issue a bond, traditionally it gets bought and sold 1,000 times. You don't know who it is you actually owe the money to. This is where the paying agent comes in. You just send your coupon payment to the paying agent, and they worry about it. But if you need to speak to that bond, the holder of your debt, for whatever reason, you have a new issue coming, you want to refinance it, you would have to go through an intermediary. That intermediary costs money. And with us and with blockchain, you have total visibility over who owns your debt, and that type of sort of efficiencies have become attractive to some larger banks and arrangers and origination companies that just want to make the business run more smooth. But it wasn't originally designed for them. But they're knocking on our doors.
Great. That's definitely a great use case. Can definitely help both small companies and to establish yourself as establish the connections with all the exchanges and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean if you're a company looking to raise 10 million, usually you're going to talk to your bank, and it's very, very difficult to get money out of a bank, or you're going to go to a VC and sell off part of your company. There are other ways to finance your business besides what is really expensive, selling off a piece of your business. So hopefully we can help some companies grow and without sacrificing too much to do that.
Definitely. Okay, so getting back to the white label platform, who do you envision as your clients?
Yeah, when we first started down this path, we wanted to target people who, the CFD FX sort of community. It was a bit of a tough sell a couple of years ago. People weren't all that interested in taking sort of a commission and not having a B book. I think that was the hardest thing for brokers to get their head around. But times have changed a lot in the last 3 years, and offering a deliverable asset, not just a CFD, is starting to become a lot more attractive to a lot of brokers. So really what we're looking for are brokers who understand that a deliverable asset can be profitable. It's it takes a little bit more time. You need to focus on customer retention and training your traders to make money. The brokers that understand that and are okay with waiting maybe an extra 6 months before you really start making good money, as opposed to on day one with sort of an FX, third month, fourth month on a sort of CFD product. You really do start making money after a few months. With this, you probably will have to wait a little bit longer. You will eventually, because the volumes on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff are absolutely insane. There are exchanges out there making more than 500,000 a day in revenue, and that is very good money. And so that's what we're looking for. We're looking for brokers who want to offer a deliverable asset, not just a CFD.
Mm-hmm. So would that go as a do you think it will go as a separate platform on their existing offering, like another branch?
Well, that's because this is an unregulated product, and most brokers that we're talking to are CIFs, and the SISIC doesn't want their CIFs selling a deliverable Bitcoin. So where technically it is possible to integrate into an existing brand or brokerage, we suggest not to do that because it's just easier. One of the issues is, as a deliverable asset and a real exchange and a pooled exchange, pooled liquidity, each broker will have traders buying and selling things from other brokers. What happens there is that the cash now is sitting in the wrong broker's bank account. And in order to reconcile that throughout the day, we have each broker sitting within the same banking infrastructure, and we send reconciliation messages out through the day, and that balances off the books for each broker. Now, if you were to integrate this into your existing brokerage, in order for that to work, you would have to open up an account within our infrastructure, within the same banks, and pre-fund that, hold a bond or just have cash on deposit. If the funds aren't sitting there, the trade won't happen. So our system won't allow a trade to happen if the funds or the Bitcoin isn't sitting there. Now, if you're a broker and you're looking to take a punt on this, and you look at our fees, our setup fees are reasonable, but if now you have to keep $500,000 euros in a bank account somewhere so that your traders can buy something from their own wallet on your FX platform, say, that becomes a lot more expensive for you as a broker, because now you've got to tie up some funds in on reserve within a bank account within the same infrastructure. So for a few reasons, we suggest just launch this as its own brand. Brand it similarly if you'd like. If your regulator is happy with that, it just would make your life a lot simpler. It's not as easy for the trader, of course, because if you have one wallet and you're buying or selling across different products from one wallet, it's a lot easier. But I think from a regulatory perspective, a cost perspective, better off starting off with this product as its own brokerage.
Mm-hmm. And sorry. So can you share with us some of the costs that a broker would would have to bear for setting up a new business like that, or?
Yeah. For us, we charge £15,000 setup fee and then 10% ongoing rev share. Rev share is obviously not on volume. It's on whatever the percentage that a broker decides to charge to a trader for that trade. So their actual revenue, we take 10% of that.
Do you know if that works by spreads or commission or?
Yeah, it's commission.
Commission.
So yeah, it's commission based. So because it's all trades are actually happening. I'm selling something to you, and the broker is sitting in the middle, so he would add a commission fee for introducing the two of us and providing the service.
So from a point of view of let's say a trader that right now is used to trading with an exchange like let's say Coinbase or Kraken, right? Basically they have their wallet which they can withdraw to another Bitcoin wallet, like a hardware wallet. Is that something that's possible, or only the broker would have a wallet?
No. Well, the way it is a deliverable asset. So if you signed up at a broker powered by BlockX, you would have a wallet sitting in our wallet infrastructure, so the same as the bank account. If you wanted to withdraw that, you would withdraw the Bitcoin to your own wallet. But as long as it's sitting on account, we'll say, or in your BlockX powered brokerage account, it's BlockX manages the wallet infrastructure. From a security standpoint, we need to manage the wallet infrastructure. We can't take the risk of having 30 or 40 brokers trying to manage the infrastructure security wise, the infrastructure around the wallet server. It's just it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, I can imagine. So can you tell me what's the level of cyber defense that an operation like yourself require? Because I know right now we're seeing exchanges being hacked all the time, or under DDoS attacked, and maintenance outages all the time, and people are sending me emails about they're trying to scam because they're always concerned about what's going on. So
yeah, I mean, we can't get into too much detail because obviously the security protocols we need to keep private. But what I can say is that where anything of value is held is not accessible if you're able to get into our systems. So they're not exposed to the internet. You won't be able to, if you're able to hack into BlockX. I mean, someone will. Eventually, they will. Everyone gets hacked. The worst thing that you'd be able to do if it was a major breach is maybe change the balances, but we have a system in place for that as well. And if a breach was to happen, obviously you catch these breaches, you wouldn't actually have access to anything of value. This the same as if you were to hack a Forex site, you wouldn't get access to the cash. You just get access to what the balances are shown in the wallets, but those are just numbers in the wallet system. So you would get access to maybe information, people's information, but that's all encrypted. So you really wouldn't get access to that. You'd have to be able to crack the encryption. You'd get access to really nothing of value. We know that the hackers will come. They come to every site really. Anything that has value, they focus on. So we've taken measures to make sure that the things of value are not exposed to a hack of any of the BlockX systems.
Okay, so I've recently, because of the obviously the rise of Ethereum mainly, I've been getting a lot of questions from brokers, traditional brokers. They they don't know much. They know the way they do business, which is get a liquidity and set up a CFD.
Yep.
So is that something that BlockX can do, or if somebody comes to you,
it's something we can do. It's not something we are doing. It is. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous for the broker. You cannot move a euro-dollar pair unless you are a government, right? You can move a euro Ethereum pair if you have not a lot of money. So it is extremely dangerous to be doing.
Yeah, we saw it 2 weeks ago with on Coinbase.
Yeah, you really don't want to be doing that. At some time in the future, it might become safer, but for us, everybody that comes to us, they would like to do that. It is not something we are eager just to provide, because it really is dangerous for the broker. And you don't need to. The other thing is you don't need to do that. There's enough volume. There's enough trading that happens with these cryptocurrencies where you can make very good money simply by providing a true brokerage between a buyer and a seller. The time will come where the markets are liquid and deep enough, and are difficult or very expensive to manipulate, and you can offer these kind of products. But right now, it's our opinion that it is extremely dangerous for a broker to offer this. Technically, we have what's needed to do that. I think it's a really bad idea.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've mentioned the current liquidity. So how do you get liquidity for for BlockX system? Is that just the brokers that join in, or are you connected to?
No. So that is a very, very common question. I'm glad you asked. The first broker that goes live, if he had one trader and he wanted to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin, he'd be able to buy $1 million worth of Bitcoin. We have enough liquidity providers. There's a few industry standard market makers and liquidity providers for OTC trades that there won't be a problem in the early days. So any broker that signs up, they will not have to worry about that. Either on the OTC side, because we have an OTC desk. If you take a white label brokerage from us, there's an OTC desk. The broker can set the limits. A minimum OTC trade needs to be 100,000 euros. If they want to protect their liquidity on the exchange, they have control over that. But the OTC desk is there. So for OTC trades and for on exchange trade, we have market makers and liquidity providers. And we have relationships with the miners, relationship with the actual, the companies that do this for a living, market making and providing OTC liquidity. We have relationships with the payment processors, Bitcoin payment processors. So yeah, there's more than enough liquidity.
Are you able to provide some names, or is that?
I'm not sure if we should.
I see. Okay.
I'm not sure if we have NDAs or not. That's Alex, my partner's thing, and I don't know if we're under NDA with them or not.
Okay. And what about does the fact that it's deliverable mean that you can't offer leverage?
No, we do offer leverage, but it's fully collateralized leverage. So you have to borrow the collateral. So whether it's fiat, whether it's a euro, whether it's the Bitcoin that you're borrowing, and there are liquidity providers for the brokers for that. So the broker has the choice of providing its own liquidity and making the interest on it, and obviously the volumes that come from that, or using one of the liquidity providers. Liquidity provider will charge the broker a percentage. The broker can upcharge that, raise that interest rate, or it can pass it on at cost.
Okay, so let's try to
more like margin trading than a CFD leverage trading.
So who would have to deposit the margin? If let's say there's BlockX, there's the broker or the brand, and then there's the retail user, right? The end user.
The broker would have access to either its own liquidity or our liquidity providers. So the broker has a set of risk management tools, including whether or not it wants to offer leverage and how much leverage it has available to offer.
Based on his fund
collateral.
Yeah, based on his collateral. I see.
Yep.
So how much do you think would be the standard leverage or the maximum that you will allow?
Yeah, we're suggesting 5 times. A couple of the larger, more professional brokers, people that have been around for years, and they know it better than we do. They are they're saying they'll go out at 7, 5 to 7. We wouldn't want anyone going over that. If you look at what the movement is on these assets every day, 5 times easily is 100% in any given day. So given the fact that you have massive runs and massive falls at any time, and not always something that can be predicted by reading the charts, again, it's like the CFDs. It's extremely dangerous to go over 5 times. So you really know what you're doing. You really need to know what you're doing to go over 5 times.
Yeah.
And have the deep pockets just in case something bad does happen.
Yeah. Without naming names, we've seen in the past brokers that launch CFDs back in 2014 and 2013, and they quickly disappeared. So that's definitely a danger. And
we don't want to we have a responsibility. We're not just here at BlockX to make money. We have a responsibility to make sure that our brokers are around for a very, very long time, and they make as much money as they can, and the traders aren't getting ripped off. So with a pure deliverable product, there's not a whole lot of arguing that a trader can do. They wanted to buy something, they want to sell something. That's their choice and their decision. But once you start getting into CFD products, that's where arguments can come up, and conflicts of interest can come up, and you're seeing it with the binary world, where the regulators are doing everything they can to choke that industry out. We look at what happened in that industry and say, okay, what are the things that caused that product to have so many problems? And the product on its own, there really isn't anything wrong with it. It's it shouldn't be advertised maybe in my mind as an investment product. It's more like gambling, but there's nothing wrong with gambling either, as long as these things are operated in the right way, and, protecting traders as much as you can. I don't see anything wrong with these products. So we looked at the things that had gone wrong in different industries and tried to identify how we can help make sure that either the broker doesn't get into trouble or the trader doesn't get themselves into trouble. And it may cost us some money in the near term. There might be some brokers that don't want to take our product because we won't offer a huge amount of leverage or we don't offer CFDs. But I think in the long run, being a little bit prudent, a little bit low risk, will pay off in the long term, because it's not really a regulated asset. The prices move like crazy. Nobody knows what's going to happen with the regulators in a year. Thankfully, all the regulators have been very hands-off in Europe, and not how they did it in the United States, where they rushed off to try and find a way to regulate it. And no one's happy with those regulations. Europe's been they've taken a very good approach, and all the regulators that we talk to are very open to have us come in and have a conversation. You don't have to hide your companies if you're running a brokerage company, a blockchain or cryptocurrency exchange. You can set the company up in the UK like we have, park yourself in the UK, put the sign on the door, what you're doing. There's no hiding. There's no need to hide. The regulators are perfectly happy with the way that we've designed our systems, and the way that money is held, and the way that players are protected or traders are protected. If you're taking a brokerage from us, you don't have to spend a lot of money on legal fees to make sure you're protected, because the regulators already know what we're offering, and they're very happy for brokers to set up in wherever they choose to set up, so long as they follow the AML KYC rules, and so long as the traders' funds are segregated from operation funds, and ring-fenced from segregated and ring-fenced. Regulators so far have been very, very, very helpful, very responsive, because we have taken a prudent approach. I think if we wanted to be more aggressive, the regulators wouldn't have been as happy. And we are in the FCA sandbox. And I think just our overall attitude towards this has helped us with our relationships with the regulators.
Mm-hmm. I definitely think that from an end user perspective, that's a great advantage. I wouldn't say most, but a lot of the exchanges, especially Eastern Europe and in Asia, you have no idea who you're dealing with, and what measures of safety, if any, they have. So
yeah, I mean that's a good point. If you're looking to run a brokerage from us, you can be very vocal. This is who we are. This is where our office is. This is who the owners are. There's no need to hide. If you have a good tax lawyer, the UK has a lot of tax benefits. A lot of you don't have to play a lot of games anywhere, not from a tax perspective or from a regulatory perspective. And that is something you can use as part of their branding and marketing. Say, look, I'm Adam Leonard. I'm the owner and CEO of the brokerage. And if you have a problem, I'm on LinkedIn. Come message me. That's something that people can do with this product.
That's really great. And if you're coming to London, if you heard his pitch for the city, make sure to come in November to the Finance Magnates Summit. We'll be speaking about blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies as well. So I'm looking at the wall behind you the whole time when we're talking, and I'm seeing the platform. So if you could just describe the a bit about the actual user interface for clients.
Yeah, this is one of the skins. We actually have, I think, a couple of much nicer skins that are just being polished off now. But we really have two approaches. There's the simple approach where it's just clean, it's just around the trading, not a lot of bells and whistles. Then we have a more social skin where it does have a leaderboard and the ability for a trader to opt in or opt out so they can show the world how well they're doing. The copy trading option as well. So the way our copy trade is a little bit different than say an eToro because the prices can move. And if you're very good and start to create a big following, a $10 trade is now a $10,000 trade. Uh-oh. I think I may have lost you, but I'll keep talking just in case. So the way our copy trade works, it's more along the lines of picking someone to follow. When that person executes a trade, a pop-up comes up on your screen, and you have the option to copy the trade exactly this as it was executed, or to edit that trade. Say you don't want you want to trade more or less. So you do have to click a couple of buttons. It's not auto copy, but again, that is designed to keep the traders from keep the traders' risk down and to prevent massive manipulation of the price of something. Again, like everything that we've done, is taking the traders' security.
And we're back online. Thank you for joining us. Sorry if you were watching this live, we had a minor technical difficulty, and please continue, Adam. We were discussing the social aspects of the platform.
Yeah. So our so we have the two skins, pretty much the two versions. One social, one without the social. We have things like a leaderboard and the ability for a trader to opt in or opt out of that leaderboard. And we have our own version of copy trading. Mm-hmm. Our version of copy trading is different than, say, an eToro, where on our platform, because it's these are real trades, and there's the price can move. If you build up a big following, you place a $10 trade, really you're placing, say, a $5 million trade, and you can affect the price and take advantage of that. And if you're taking advantage of that, you are manipulating the price, which is not legal most places, and also really what you're doing is you're ripping off the other traders that are following you. So the way our copy trading is designed is that following you, and you were to execute a trade, I'd get a pop-up, and I'd be able to either one-click copy that trade as is, or edit the trade, copy it, or ignore it completely. So it's, again, like everything else, designed to protect the traders from people doing things they shouldn't be doing. Over time, like with the CFDs, hopefully the market becomes deep and liquid and not as easy to manipulate, and then we can have the auto copy trade, which is of course great for the brokers because that would increase the volume. It's a volume-based revenue business. So one step at a time. We also have the leveraged trading product as well that traders will quite like. And from a broker's perspective, we have a back office. We've built our own. We've built everything else in-house. What we haven't built is an affiliate system. So we've integrated with Sell Experts. We looked at most of them out there and felt that they're the best. Now, if you have your own CRM, if you have your own affiliate system, everything is API driven. So you'll be able to pipe that information into your own CRM if you wish, or your own affiliate system if you wish. So it's pretty adaptable. I mean, as a platform that was just built, so we could see what other people have done and try and improve on it and make it as flexible as possible, so that it could be used in a way that the different brokers would like to use it.
Mm-hmm. No, but it definitely
Of
sounds like.
course, it's not. Of course, it's not as feature rich as say a lever 8 or a trade logic or a spot option, because they've been building their back office for up to 10 years. So we do have some features that will have to be added and will be added every few weeks. But it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm saying from an end user perspective, that's from a trader perspective, it's good to see that somebody's bringing all the the ways of making trading more automated, more exciting for who wants it, that was developed in the Forex world into this I would say more I wouldn't say boring, just because of the great movements, but the more technical Bitcoin trading platform offerings.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I might be wrong. I don't know every trading platform that's out there in the crypto space, but I'm not sure if anyone has the combination of both leverage and non-socialized leverage and the social features as well.
Yeah, I'd have to
There
think
might be
about
something
that.
out there, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I would say that as well. And what about, because I understand, like, can you connect it with a MT4 or those more?
No, I mean it can be, but it's that's a whole set of new problems.
Yes.
It gets asked every single day. We're trying to see if there's an elegant solution, but so far we haven't been able to figure out a good elegant solution.
Okay, so usually these, usually I try to keep the interviews for 30 minutes, but this is, such a interesting area, and I really do get a lot of questions from brokers about it. So, we
Allow
extended
me to ramble on.
Yeah. So, is there, so before we end, is there anything else that you think that traders, brokers, liquidity providers, anyone that's listening to this need to know?
No, I mean, if you're a broker, we're doing everything we can to add third-party suppliers. I guess that's the one thing we didn't really talk about. We have an onboarding procedure where we've sort of digitized the whole onboarding procedure, and by doing that, and what we're able to do is match that up with suppliers. So let's say it's a PSB, so we onboard some new PSBs. It's a pain in the ass to apply it to them, but the way we onboard a broker, you'll just be able to press a button and apply, and everything that PSB would need just gets sent to them. I think we're trying to make it the broker's life as easy as possible. So if you're a supplier and you're a Finance Magnates a reader or watcher in this case, and you want to supply something to our brokers, feel free to contact us, and we'll get you integrated into that marketplace.
That's great. And the currencies that you're currently offering, it's just Bitcoin, or?
Yeah, it's we're not launching all 999 cryptocurrencies that are out there. So, we'll launch with a few: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Ripple, and then look at adding more. What we look for are sort of things that exist for a reason. They don't just exist to make a little bit of money for themselves. So they're real currencies and things that have good technology. We have to vet the technology quite well. There's a good example at Cryptsy, where one of the assets was actually stealing Bitcoin from them. So they integrated this asset for trading, and their wallet was. I'm not a developer, so I don't want to lead the viewers down the wrong path, but effectively that one currency was stealing Bitcoin from the platform, and now that platform doesn't exist anymore. So we need to be really, really careful about the assets that we onboard from a technical perspective, and again, from whether or not it's that cryptocurrency exists for a good reason.
Okay, that's a good place to wrap. Thank you again,
okay.
Adam, for taking the time. And thank you for everyone that's watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and keep following us at Finance Magnates. Thank you very much, and happy
Have
trading.
a good day.
Good day.